Would you like to reduce your net fleet fuel spend by 10 to 23%? Could you use that money in other areas in your company while reducing your carbon footprint at the same time? Click the link below and learn more. Hey, everybody. Welcome to FEI, Freight Executive Insights. I'm Mike Vincent, the Freight Executive with the Insights. And he really should be wearing like a Santa suit, I think. And you'll find out. Santa's wearing blue this year, guys. Anyways, it's who is going to be my new really good friend, Kyle Kottke of Kottke Trucking. You're the general manager at Kottke Trucking, brother, in case you didn't know. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Glad to be here.
So where are you at, brother?
I sit in Buffalo Lake, Minnesota, a town of 700 people west of the Twin Cities, about an hour.
Wow, you're out there, dude. I mean, you're heading towards the Dakotas and stuff.
We like to call it God's country.
I bet it is God's country. Is it? Are there actually 10,000 lakes there?
Not here. We're in the prairie part. They start about an hour north of here.
Oh, really? So that's all. Those are all the Kettle Lakes and all that kind of stuff is up north of where you guys are.
For the most part, the ones worth mentioning are they start about an hour north of here.
Oh, no kidding. That's awesome, brother. So Buffalo Lake, Minnesota. That's fantastic, brother. So, who is Kottke Trucking, and explain the incredible coincidence that your last name is the same name as the company?
Well, 86 years in business. My grandfather founded with one truck. Today, it's myself and two brothers. We're roughly just under 200 trucks, locations in Minnesota and Florida. 85% of our business is refrigerated truckload, 15% is refrigerated LTL.
Is it naturally refrigerated because you're in Buffalo Lake, Minnesota?
No. That isn't the first time I've heard that joke, though. We stumbled into it because there used to be a dairy in the town of 700 people, and my grandfather threw milk cans at the beginning of his trucking career.
Oh, no kidding. That's pretty cool. So why Florida? Is that your major lane back and forth?
Yep. We run between the Midwest and the Southeast very heavily. We bought out a trucking company that was very heavy in Florida in 2016 and then doubled down in 2019 and bought an LTL company based in Central Florida as well.
Oh, so are you doing just the local or regional LTL down in Florida, or does that go out?
We service the eastern half of the United States. So we do all of our pickup and delivery in Florida, but then we'll deliver the freight to anywhere in the eastern half of the U.S.
Okay, so you're kind of doing consolidation LTL in Florida, and then up to gotcha. Okay,
very
so it's
heavy
not
in produce. Yep.
Oh, I would imagine, right?
Yep.
But there's other things that come out of Florida. Everybody says nothing is made in Florida, but that's not 100% true.
Well, nothing is made usually on the coast, right? Either it's coming through them ports or it's a really fancy house, but the center part of that state's got a lot of industry. There's no question.
Yeah, it certainly does. So are you like down in the Lakeland area down there, that kind of area?
Yep, we're in Lake Alfred, just east of there.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Fantastic. I love it. So I was, stalking my guests, and I ran across it. It is the season to be jolly, and we're getting closer and closer to Christmas. And I noticed you guys were doing, toy drives and that type of stuff. And I reached out and said, hey, let's talk about Kottke and let's talk about the toy drive, brother. Do tell, what's going on there?
Well, the Minnesota Trucking Association's done this for decades, and one of our former safety directors got us involved 25 years ago now. For our charity events, there's two things that move us. It's kids and cancer. We work our butts off to get as much either cash or toys to make sure that every kid can feel a little bit of joy at Christmas.
That is awesome. So it's you've been doing this for 25 years now, huh? It's growing pretty well.
Yep.
Yeah, growing pretty well. Are you doing it just in Minnesota, or you advanced this through your other location as well?
We do both of our locations. So we do Minnesota and Florida. We usually choose relatively regional so we are outstate. The Minnesota Trucking Association will choose their centers in Minneapolis, which works well, and then we'll blanket around the Lakeland area,
Right.
specifically in Florida. We do okay. Last year we were just under 10 grand. We get $10,000 worth of toys and donations just about every year, including our contribution. We think we're over $200,000 in the history of doing this, and um, it's just one of those things. Started with my mom and dad wearing a Christmas hat, driving around to the shelters in central Minnesota, and my dad wanted to always be a tough guy, but there's always pictures of him crying while he was
Yeah.
delivering the toys. So it's just one awesome way to give back.
Yeah, no, that is fantastic. That is
And
really
not only that,
fantastic.
truckers have a soft spot. So when
I
whether
heard they're
you're
human. I heard they're human.
yeah, that they love the fact that they can kick $20 into the kettle, and they know that they've done the right thing to help a kid at that Christmas. So it's cool stuff. Minnesota Trucking Association deserves their merit for running it. We've just chosen to make it one of our cornerstones of giving back, and it's just amazing.
I think it's fantastic, my friend. So, how do people get involved in the site? I mean, who is involved? Are your customers providing stuff, or can they, or is there ways for?
Yep. Honestly, we call it friends and family. So anybody associated with us directly or not, we have we have a lot of people that'll just pop in our front door and drop a basket of toys, and it's pretty cool. Um, all the way down to specific customers love to help us every year, and our employees are very much the driving force behind it. Um, and every year we pick up a little more traction. More and more people just hooking onto the wagon, and we just keep pulling.
That is awesome. So, if people want to donate money, how does that get to the kids? Do you guys go buy the toys or something, or you funnel
Yep.
that through an
So you
organization?
can give us physical toys, and we'll donate them according to shelter's needs. Or we, of course, will take cash, credit card, whatever it is, and we'll go shopping for you. My team thinks it's always absolutely fun to shop not only with their money but your money. So
Yeah,
they go to town, and we're in constant contact with the shelters to know um, which age categories they believe are going to be the most short in that season, and therefore we will look at our physical ones and realize that where the gaps are, and then we'll go shop to the gaps.
that's tremendous. That is really really cool. Where do people go that want to? If there's somebody listening or watching that wants to do this, do they just go to kottke.com, or where do they go to do
Yep.
this?
Send me an email. Find me on LinkedIn. Anywhere you can find me, I'll hook you up either with me directly or the Minnesota Trucking Association, wherever they prefer to give, and together we just do good things.
That is fantastic stuff. That is fantastic. So, is Kottke straight just refrigerated and refrigerated LTL?
For the most part, about 80% of our revenues are all something temperature protect, and then we have a small dry van division as well,
Oh, I got you. All right, all
and a
right.
small
So,
dedicated division. But for the most part, we're a regular route, regional long haul refrigerated freight.
yeah. So, how is your last couple of years and future kind of looking there as far as business
Well,
levels?
we're very traditional to the market. We had our boom, we're in our bust, and I, like everybody else, can only see a better day ahead in the future. Um, I'm very conservative, though. I got a buddy that went out and bought some trucks last week after the election, and I'm like, whoa, I think you might be a little
Yeah,
early. But there are better days ahead for those of us that push
Well,
through.
enough people like your buddy go out and do that stuff, and we will pull out of this, right?
Oh, well, you go first. I'll come
Yeah,
second.
yeah. I mean, that's always the thing with the economy. Somebody's got to jump into the pool first, and there's got to be that little nugget of energy that causes
And
anything
there
that,
are
that
there's
catalyst.
green sprouts out there. I know the publicly traded guys are leading the charge, identifying that they're out there. We see them too. The that one where you just simply go, "Huh, we haven't seen that in a while," or "Ooh, we got three of them in a day instead of one."
Yeah,
So there's just little nuggets that indicate that. We've probably long past bottomed and we're starting our journey the other direction. It's just the timing to know how long that journey is.
yeah, absolutely. That's the key. If we knew that, then I mean, you can study cycles, et cetera, and they're fairly consistent. You can see them, but fairly consistent is difficult because making a decision this month versus last month or next month is massive. Can be
Yeah,
a
28
massive.
years for me, the longest cycle ever, right? This
Sure.
is this has been the longest one. And if you want to be a pessimist, you can argue that trucking is going to be ready to run at about the same time that maybe our general economy will sputter a little. And if you play that case point, you can get pretty depressed pretty fast. So
You could, right? The cycle could turn into just a little bump kind of
just the
thing.
yep, it just never materialized to a plus side, which means you could end up with a prolonged low with just a little bump in the middle. Um,
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong when I repeat that I've heard that, but the reality is nobody knows, and here we are.
Yeah, nobody knows until it happens, and I mean, and even as it became a little bit more and more clear as to which way the election was going. Still, executives are saying, "Yeah, end of 2025," which to me means I don't know because that gives them enough time to change their mind, right?
Economists and weathermen, they got a lot in common.
They yeah they really do. They have a lot in common. Have you seen many changes in your industry based on kind of the international play as far as near shoring or anything like that? Have you seen
Well,
changes
there's
in what you're doing?
a ton of activity with the U.S. Mexico trade. There's no question about that. I don't see anything, especially now with a clarity of at least 2 years and possibly 4 years of the political cycle being set. Uh, I think that's going to become even more vibrant. Um, and it's happening. There's no doubt. Um, Other than that, when you're in the food industry, they can choose a different port or a different entry point for the international stuff, but at the end of the day, the domestic stuff is still there, still doing exactly what it was doing before, and
Right.
that won't change a ton, I don't think.
Yeah, no, the domestic stays pretty consistent, but the international has changed a bit, huh?
There and obviously Texas and Arizona and that whole thing is not a
Yeah.
huge part of what we do, but I've got peers in the group that are investing significant amount of dollars along that border.
Yeah. In anticipation and following the trend, right? I mean,
Yep,
it's 52% up. I think
yep,
imports from Asia into the United States have switched from the U.S. to Mexico by as 32 or 33% a year ago, and 26% this year so far has
yep.
switched from down, which is I mean, you can see that's the veil you can see through and go, yeah, really. Did we near shore or did China Mexico shore? It's kind
Well,
of
and I think there's a whole political game there that I'm not incredibly vast or won't be your expert to say, but
right.
I think there's some political BS that goes around that appears to make a nearshoring just the new way to enter the U.S. and we'll let the politicians play uh, their part in that. That's
Yeah,
not for me.
let them figure that out. You just got to move the freight around, right? That's
That's right.
fantastic. So, what about the new technologies, et cetera? I mean, I talk to a lot of people, and predominantly talk to more like dry van and LTL, but outside the refrigerated. And when I get
Yep.
to speak to somebody in refrigerated or in the flatbed, heavy haul, those type of more niche type of things, although refrigerated is a pretty big niche. I like to talk about the new innovations and stuff like that, sustainability and stuff, because I see things like solar powered reefer units, right? And this type of stuff. Where are there pressures in that, in the sustainability part for the reefer unit, et cetera, and in your job that you see?
Yeah, the full non-diesel product has still got a ways to go, but we've got solar power panels on many of ours that'll um, sustain battery life and do things of that nature. So, that first small wave has come through. I think we're a long way off yet from an alternative diesel powered refrigerated unit, at least on the long haul
Yeah, yeah.
division. Um, but
So the solar panels are more of an assistant type of thing, like they assist the power.
basically make sure that your battery never goes low, right? And
Gotcha,
it
gotcha.
sustains the life. I mean, we're now having batteries make it 2 times as long because of
Mm.
um, the assistance. So there's good technology on that. I'm the everybody gets fascinated with these huge technology plays. I'm one that really loves all the base hits, right? That's pretty cool. And then you add on top of it, whether it be fuel economies and things in the back office. Everybody's getting leaner and meaner, and you watch what's going on in that brokerage game with all the co-brokering and all the weird things that are going on in that world that we would have never dreamt of 4, 5, 6 years ago.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
those things are just incrementally, slowly changing what we know as the freight game.
Yeah. Are you seeing pressure at all, or more and more requests or anything from the customers on the advancement and sustainability side in the reefer units, et cetera? Or is that still kind of
You
just
know,
on the emissions of the actual truck itself?
I don't see a ton of it in what we do.
Yeah, gotcha.
The You got a lot of the gating questions. They're gathering the data. They know exactly where you're at in it. I'm not seeing a lot of the gating information uh, be a prerequisite to business yet.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They could go to that game. Um, I'm
I mean, the
I'm
emissions, the
seeing
emissions on the reefer unit itself are not nearly the percentage as they are on the power unit, right?
they're
So
not.
that it's not, it hasn't hit the radar as something to hit yet because the juice isn't worth the squeeze, I guess, right?
Yeah, and the that unit is going to follow that truck in more ways than literal. So the more that we change
Mm.
the truck technology, the more they're going to look at that refrigerated unit somehow doing something along the same lines. So
Oh yeah,
it
yeah,
might
yeah.
be a little more reactive.
Transfers technology and advancements, right? Would make it.
I think the trailer, pardon the pun, will get pulled in that transaction.
No, hey, just
Much of the focus will remain on that tractor. They got the West Coast things, which I'm not part of. They're going to try to do the first wave of some of that. It's a struggle. I don't clearly see how that bridge is crossed yet today. There's smarter people than me to tell you how that looks to clear. Um, it's expensive. It'll be redundant. There's going to be added cost to the supply chain at the level that we sit at today.
mm,
So they either got to figure out how to remove some of that, or they're going to have to adhere to a higher cost of service by the regulation that's coming.
yeah, gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. And you mentioned some of the things along, security and fraud, et cetera, earlier on. Is that predominant in your line in the reefer business as it is, in dry van? Is it as big an issue? I mean, any theft or fraud is big, but I mean, is it
I
is
think theft
pervasive?
and fraud follows high value. So
Yeah.
yes, there is high value in
But I mean, there's
refrigerated.
also it's harder to steal something and keep it frozen, right?
Well, although I am knock on something based in wood, I'm lucky enough that I can't speak from experience, but those guys are getting incredibly sophisticated.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, they've got warehouses, so it would not surprise me if they don't have a way to keep a load of something frozen. And they know exactly what they're doing, and they know their ins, their outs, and how to manage. And so um, it's only a matter of when, where, and how that they do it. And you're right, there are some goods in our trailers that are not worth their effort as far as value versus return, and probably their ability to spin it on a timely and quick basis. But
Mm.
there's and we're not as dominant in some of them industries, but just think of pharmaceuticals. A lot of those are going on a refrigerated trailer today, and there
And they're
are
worth a lot, and
and they're worth a lot.
they're worth a lot.
And there's all kinds of gating that's required, not only on driver training, but how you operate, where you operate, and how that works. So, trucking has finally gotten smarter with the way that we deal with it too. We've been very responsive to it for a long time, but now we're getting very proactive and predictive to do everything we can to drive as much of that fraud further away from us as possible.
Awesome. Hey, Kyle, I really appreciate you coming on the show, and I appreciate your insights into reefer and the different aspects that we've talked about. But I do still want to end again on it's Christmas time, man, and there's kids that are out there that are in need, and just like we've all kind of felt the pinch, most of us over the last couple of years. Imagine those a little lower down the chain. The lower
It
down the
does.
chain, that pinch gets a little bit bigger and a little bit harder. So, hey,
Yeah,
reach out
don't
to
forget
Kyle.
$5, $10, $20. It can go a long way. I mean,
Amen.
and everybody assumes that they got to make just a huge contribution to make a difference. And one kid and $5, $10, believe it or not, that what $10 doesn't buy what it did 10 years ago, but it still buys enough that that kid's got something. So
Yeah, absolutely. And that'll put a smile on their face, if not for just a day, and hopefully longer than that. So please reach out to people like Kyle. And if your transportation club or somebody's doing it there, hey, do that too. I'm sure Kyle's not saying, hey, you have to give to ours. Give it to everybody's, man. Make a
my
difference
mission
in
is
a
to get
kid's
a
life.
smile on a kid's face, whether it's through us or not. So by all means, if you don't have a way to get involved, we'll help you get involved. If you got a way and it isn't me, just get involved. That's all we ask.
Right on. Put a smile on a kid's face this Christmas. It's no better feeling than giving somebody else a smile, right?
Yep, joys pass forward or lifetime memories.
Amen, brother. And we'll end on that. I love it so much. Thank you so much for coming on, Kyle. Everybody, thank you for tuning into FEI and downloading us or listening us to wherever you are. Until next time, I'm Mike Vincent. Peace and love.